Okay, so my little hatchery is just one of these little tubs sitting on a few buckets. I keep it up off the concrete because the concrete down here gets very cold during the night. Now, as we open this, okay, so I've got an air curtain running through here. Quite simply, it was used to simulate the parents fanning over the eggs. Okay, I've got bits of coral because even though I do get them to lay in pH about 6.9, roughly 6.97, which I use Indian almond leaves to get down. I still put these crushed coral stones in there to slightly raise the pH. They're everywhere. Okay, so I've got two 25 watt heaters. Now I'll put that on either side of the plate to get the right temperature evenly, you could say. As you can see, there's lots of white eggs there. They're all hatched now. They're out. Just a few. I'm happy to say I have like a reasonably good success rate with this. I've only had one batch ever die in this situation because the heater failed and it was extremely cold weather. So now I simply do not breed my fish over winter. Alright, so there's all my little babies. So yeah, I've got this little thing here as my my temperature gauge. Excuse me. So basically, all I'm doing is I'm trying to keep the water at a nice stable parameters. So temperature, pH, and circulation. Circulation's a big one, right? I don't do many water changes on this tank for the first month. For the first month, all I feed them is, brine shrimp eggs. Okay, and I feed them that for most of the first month. But yeah, basically, what it does is it's just going to ensure that my babies get the best raising at the start anyway. Now, as they start to get bigger, they're going to get moved to a 250 litre tank where I'm going to change the pH gradually in that tank. Now, currently this tank, after being here with the eggs for just over 5 days, so we've brought the pH of the water up to 7.3 with this little amount of crushed coral in there. So I'm already gradually raising the actual pH. Now, I hope that obviously none of them drop off. Like I want to be able to pick my selects from all of them. But I find that there's usually probably about a 5 or 10% drop off rate in the first 2 weeks. One, if they don't get fed a lot, they tend to pick on each other. And if they get fed too much, they tend to die off anyway. So this way, I just ensure that I'm keeping them healthy and without as many issues as I can try, and I'll take away as many issues as I possibly can. The number one thing that I find is don't open this too often. You want to open this maybe once a day, check on them. I feed them once a day. I don't feed them twice a day or anything like that. I'm not trying to get them to boom out. I'm trying just to get them to survive the first month and be able to get moved on to the next tank. Okay, so with these eggs as well, you can see they're white. So eventually they're going to start getting fluffy, furry, and they're going to cause an ammonia spike. So the reason I'm actually doing this video today is I'm taking that plate out today. It's been about 3 days, 3 or 4 days now since they've hatched. And as you can see, they're all swimming around, so they're not in the plate anymore. There's a few in the plate that are just like being lazy, but I'm guessing that they're probably going to get knocked off or have been nipped or something, you know, like there's usually a reason why that's happening. The actual eggs, I probably got 60 or 70% of them to hatch, which I was quite happy with, considering it was the first time this male has ever been with a female. And boy, did this male do a lot of damage to this female. But he'll learn as he gets older. But it's quite simple now. I have no reason to pair him up with anything until I get his babies to grow up and start laying. Alright, and that's line breeding. You know, I try not to breed brothers and sisters together. I find that they're genetically just too close, and I tend to get a really, really crappy select rate out of it. So this way I find you're taking, you know, half the genetics and mixing it with, and combining it with half the genetics, not, you know, not almost a, you know, a 90-20, 90 to 10% split type thing, you know. Yeah, that's my video. I hope that's helped a few people. Ollie from UFO Australia. Hope this works. Best of luck.